track that. We all have to thank her for bringing so much to the family of God, and on so many levels. So I'm watching maybe part of a MOPS group. I'm wondering what you're hearing, because you've been really overseeing the publishing for MOPS, haven't you, Jean? What are the key issues you're responding to from parents of young children right now?
I think one of the top issues is loneliness. Moms feel very alone, even though, you know, we can be so connected through the internet and computer and things like that, but there's still this deeper need for a relationship, and this loneliness, I think, is one of the top.
That's an excellent point to make. I know that when our kids were younger, and I was a stay-at-home mom for many years and babysat other people's kids in my home as well, so that I could be with my children. I remember going to, early on, a women's Bible study every Wednesday morning, just to have that connection. And then as the years went by, I started leading that Bible study in my home and connecting with the other moms, because you do have so many similar things along the journey that you go through, that you need to know that you're not alone. You're not traveling by yourself.
Just to have adult conversation.
Well, that too.
Definitely,
Somewhere in your week.
Yeah, for sure.
And I found too, with mothers of boys, if you're with other moms of boys, you can share and have encouragement from each other.
The Survivor Club.
Yeah.
I know I have a friend, Nadine, used to come over with her son to my house when my youngest son was little, and we had a fish tank in the basement. And Nadine, if you're watching, you know where this is going. And the boys were downstairs watching a Disney movie, we thought. They were about 3 and 4 years old. And they were a little too quiet during the movie, so we went down to find that they had decided to give the fish a break from the fish tank. They had taken every single fish out and put them in Lego, the big chunky Lego building blocks, so they each had their own individual little swimming area in the Lego building blocks. I'm happy to report we only lost one fish.
I know.
That's so creative.
Yeah. There's
That
a little
is so
bit.
creative, though.
I know.
Yes,
Well,
I know.
yeah, creative is one way to put it. Mess is another way to put it. But
That reminds me, my sons had a hamster, and they decided every Tuesday would be gymnastics.
oh, yeah.
So for the hamster.
Yeah, we lost the hamster
So
that way
we,
too.
Yeah.
I know.
we had to
That's
stop
not
that
pretty.
the first Tuesday. I'm like, no, we can't do
No
flips.
selfie,
No flips
no
with the
pets.
hamster.
No pets.
Jean, you know what's encouraging, though, as I was reading this, and obviously not a parent, but that you and your husband Zane are so present in the boys' lives, that you're intentional about saying, if they don't want to have meaningful conversation with us, then we're going to go look and explore and have adventure together and have communication. Or if we don't get the boys, you know what, we're going to find places and ways to do that. And if they don't want to do sports, we're not going to force them to play hockey and soccer because we as a parent want that. We actually have to figure out they're not having fun anymore. So maybe we need to be creative as to, let's talk to the coach. Because sometimes they find, and you know, from just working with teens and whatnot, is that so many times it's parents who have the agenda and issue that they kind of put on their kids, and that's where a lot of the issues find. So I just want to say that's so encouraging that you guys are very involved and present in your boys' lives, and and you can have these fun stories about that.
We are. We think of it as, life is an adventure with boys. And I feel I've done some things I probably wouldn't have done if I didn't have boys. I found myself, because the boys so embrace life and they're so passionate about what they're doing, that they've brought that into my life. And I've done things I would never have done, I'm sure, like eating chocolate-covered bugs. We did that one day.
It's like Fear Factor.
Yeah, and just the skiing. We ski as a family, and I probably wouldn't have done some of the things that we've done thanks to them.
Jean, in your book, there's a lot of laughter. There's a lot of humor in this book. If you need a laugh right now in your parenting journey, I would encourage you to get a copy of Boy-sterous Living. But you also have a lot to say to parents about the serious stuff. You say that parents need to remember to teach their boys humility. What do you mean by that?
I think being other-centered, and we live in a culture that's so self-centered, so we spend a lot of time talking about other people's needs rather than your own. And we went this past fall and built a house in Tecate, Mexico for a homeless family, and it was just so wonderful to see the boys working so hard and seeing the needs that people have around the world.
That's good.
I love too that you teach them to speak in full sentences and
Try.
give eye contact.
Yeah.
Almost lost in our present world.
I try.
Good on you,
And
Mom.
you didn't exclude the girls too, which I was encouraged about, because in the book, in the very middle, says girls are allowed in the
Yes.
club, and so I was like, yay, you
Yeah.
know. So you said the girls can be just as involved in adventure and
Yeah.
fun like that too. So
I
that
don't
was
want to
good.
be left out. I want to be a part of it.
Yeah. And one more thing I wanted to mention on the serious side is you say that as a mom, quite often I need to look at my own motives, my mom motives, and you even have something stop, drop, and roll.
Yes. Yes.
You just
That
lost
is
the producer right there.
Talking about how there's a story in the Bible about a mom who goes to Jesus and asks for one son to be on his right and one son to be on his left. And she thinks she's asking, you know, when he comes into his kingdom. And she thinks she's doing something good for her son, but she doesn't really know what she's asking. And I think that's what we do. We try to manipulate our kids' circumstances to the end that we think is the best outcome for them versus really letting go and just stepping out. And so I say, you know, if you're trying to make a decision about something with your son, sometimes you just need to stop and think about what is your motive. And drop is just to stop and pray for a minute.
Drop to
and
your
then
knees.
drop to your knees and then roll through getting advice from others or doing something or not doing something.
Oh, that's good.
That's
Yeah.
excellent.
Stop, drop,
Up and
roll.
roll.
Excellent
Yeah.
advice. Thank you, Jean. Again, the book is Boy-sterous Living, Celebrating Your Loud and Rowdy Life with Sons. I know I can definitely relate to this book. And where can people get this book?
You can get it through MOPS Shop, which is www.mops.org.
Okay.
Or through my website.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or you can log on to our website at crossroads.ca for all of the information about any guest you see here on Full Circle on 100 Huntley Street throughout the week. And I just wanted to mention, I know I mentioned that the book is quite humorous and there's a lot of funny stories in it. But I don't know where you are in your parenting journey. Maybe it's not very funny right now. Maybe you're saying, oh, I've made so many mistakes. I wish I could go back and relive a lot of my parenting journey. And maybe you're feeling a lot of guilt right now as you're listening to the conversations here on the couch. I want to encourage you, first of all, to don't stay in that cycle of guilt. Stop right now, wherever you are on that journey, and say, okay, I know that I've made mistakes, or I'm making mistakes right now, and I need wisdom. I need to know how to do this journey of parenting, because it can be very challenging for all of us.